Hey everybody, Brumbeck here. I made a video about around 20 problems with Destiny, and it turns out in all said and done the video was 51 minutes long, so yeah, I was trying for a short video. So this is the too long didn't read or watch version. I'm going to run through all 20 problems and just briefly say a couple statements about them. If you want more detailed information, the full video is also uploaded, and you can watch that with certain timestamps linking to all the different 20 issues or so I'm talking about. So watch that for more information if you're really curious. Number 1, only 4 planets. This has been talked a lot about in the public, that when Destiny ships, there's only going to be 4 planets that are explorable. And on Earth, and each planet gets 1 location. So for instance, on Earth, Old Russia is it. That is it. And we've already played through that, possibly twice or more times if you played both the alpha and the beta. So this is just not acceptable. It's just not enough areas. 4 areas is not enough. Games like Borderlands 2 had 15 plus areas, and other games, many more areas. Any game where you're grinding and trying to get loot, they have way more areas than just 4 sort of tile sets. Number 2, prefabricated areas. This one's a little more complicated, so you may want to watch my full version where I go into a lot more detail. But basically, areas such as Old Russia appear as if they were made a long time ago without regard to the quest or the content that would be in the area, and just at a later date they added in the quests and content, which is why there's no real boss areas. There's no real progression you go physically through the areas as far as scaling up a big mountain to go to a boss fight or something. It's all just sort of prefabricated, and then they just slapped in quests here and there. Number 3, empty areas. This goes hand in hand with my prior point. A lot of the areas in Old Russia felt empty. A lot of people had this criticism of the game. There's just a lot of empty space, sort of wasted. It's all graphically beautiful and detailed, but there's not a lot to do there. There's maybe a few enemies and they respawn, but that's basically it. It just feels like a kind of a waste of space. Like, we wish there was just more densely populated areas with things to do, things to find, enemies to fight, just more. It just felt very sparse. Number 4, fetch quests. I was totally shocked to see that Destiny includes meaningless fetch quests while you're in the Explore mode. When you land on the Explore mode, you have all these beacon little quest markers, and you go there and you get your fetch quests. And the quests really don't have any value or purpose besides just grinding out currency and marks, perhaps. And I would just really expect more from Destiny. I'd expect the missions to have more meaning to them. And the NPCs who give you the quests are all very boring and generic, and they're telling you, oh, you need to go collect these parts, but why? There's plenty of other players collecting parts. Why is this mission important to the story or the game? Number 5, Explored mode. Going on my prior point, the Explore mode is kind of strange to me because it takes place in the exact same Old Russia, such as in the beta, that we've already played through while playing the missions. So it occurs to me that we really explored it already when we were playing through the missions themselves. So I'm not entirely sure why they call this Explore mode, when really what you're mainly doing there is going and doing all the beacon quests. I just wish there was more to actually explore, interesting things to find, maybe little tidbits and such. I know you can find the dead ghosts, but you can find those again when you're doing missions. So it's just strange to me that Explore mode isn't more of a true exploration mode. Number 6, golden chests. I like the idea of having special chests to find, but unfortunately, there's a very, very limited number of golden chests. On Old Russia, there's only 5 in the entire area, and since that's 1/4 of the areas in the game, that stands to reason that there's maybe 20 or maybe 25 golden chests in the entire game, and once you get them, they're gone forever. You've opened them, and that's it. It occurs to me that 20 to 25 golden chests is simply just not enough. Again, comparing to a game like Borderlands 2, which has many, many chests in all the areas where you can possibly get legendaries or good guns from, there just doesn't seem to be enough golden chests. It's kind of an interesting idea, but how long will it take to get those? Not long at all. And then what do you have? Nothing. Number 7, the random chests. I know some people say, well, yeah, the golden chests, there's only a few of them, but you can find just the other type of chests just scattered about, and it's true. And some of them are kind of fun, finding them in certain locations. It's always was kind of fun in the beta when you come across a chest. 2 issues with this. First of all, the chests themselves, they don't have very interesting loot in them. They just have some glimmer and maybe a white or green item, and that's what I've been told, I could be wrong, that the final game will have as well. So the chests aren't terribly exciting. It's not like you're going to find an exotic in one of those chests, unlike Borderlands 2, where it's possible to find a legendary. Unlikely, but possible. Second issue with the random chests is they're in such strange places. They're in very illogical and unlore friendly, to put it that way, locations, such as on the top of an airplane. Who would put a chest there, and why are they so pristine? That doesn't make any sense with the broken down world that is presented to us. Number 8, exotic weapons NPCs. I find it terrible that you can just buy exotic weapons from vendors when you get enough glimmer or marks or currency or such and such. The fun part of playing loot games like Destiny, supposedly, is to find weapons for yourself, to fight bosses and get drops and get fun items from actually playing the game, from chests or bosses. Just to simply grind currency and then buy exotic weapons from NPCs, that seems crazy to me. Secondly, why do the NPCs have these exotic weapons? It's totally crazy to me. It's like, I thought we were living in this really broken down world with only one civilization's point left. Where'd they get all these exotic weapons, and why aren't they giving me one? If I'm the savior trying to help save them, why are they not giving me the exotic weapons? They have a huge stockpile of it. It makes no sense lore-wise. Number 9, cardboard NPCs. The NPCs are simply boring. They don't have backstory, they don't have lore, they don't have a reason to be there, they don't even have movements or patterns of physically moving around the tower. They just stand there mostly, or possibly sit. What about backstory? What about getting to know them? Where'd they come from? There's so few NPCs in the game and only one city, so-called city, the tower. Why can't they add some detail? It just seems very lazy on Bungie's part, just to have such empty, vapid NPCs. Number 10, only savior lies. It's a typical MMO problem of, oh hey, you're our only hope. You're the guy that Ghost found to help save us. You're such an important guardian, except there's 10 other of you in the tower at the exact moment that I can physically see. So am I really special? It's the typical problem, which makes me think, why can I see other players? Which leads into our next point. Number 10, other tower players. Why can we see other players in the tower? It seems to me that the game is mostly a single player or possibly 2 to 3 player co-op experience, so why do I see other players in the tower? Mainly it's because I can see them dance, and I can see their gear while dancing. It seems like such a shallow reason to see other players, and it really hurts the story they're trying to tell, that I'm important and I'm doing this to save save them from the darkness. It's not nearly as impactful when there's tons of other players dancing around me. Number 12, crafting and parts. It occurs to me that it's a big oversight and a big letdown that they don't include some sort of crafting where you can find weapon parts, for example. When you're out playing the game, in some of those chests we spoke of, maybe you could find some random weapon parts, and then you could take those back to maybe the cryptologist or some other vendor, and he could help you assemble custom weapons and put them together. That'd be a lot more meaningful to the player than simply going and getting currency from chests and then just buying exotic weapons. So the lack of crafting or finding weapon parts just seems like a real oversight. Number 13, you can't identify items when in the field. This one is absolutely nutcase crazy. Why wouldn't they let you identify items in the field? You have this ghost companion who's a super advanced robot who can scan things and decrypt doors, but he can't decrypt your items for you. So you have to go through 2 loading screens. You have to go all the way back to the tower and then back to the mission you were in, or the area you were in when you were playing, just to identify an item. It's just way too long. Big issue. They should patch it so you can identify items in the field. Number 14, forced mission exit. It's kind of crazy how when the mission is finished, you have to leave within, you get kicked out in 30 seconds or so. You're forced to leave. Or what if there's items on the ground you're still trying to scavenge over those 30 seconds? Or what if you're in a new location and you want to explore a little bit? Why do you take away my player freedom, my player agency? Don't force me to leave. Let me leave when I'm ready. What magical force is forcing me to leave? It makes no sense. Number 15, friends-only raids. This was in the news a lot, so people know about this one. Why are you forcing me to play with friends? I'm clearly incapable of making friends. Just listen to me. But joking aside, just give me the choice. If playing with strangers is not a good experience, people won't do it. But why force us? Why force us to party up with friends? It just seems like a very heavy-handed fascist design choice. Like, giving players freedom is always better in game design. That's my philosophy. Number 16. This one is just personal opinion, but I think Ghost is miscast. I think they should have picked a more engaging and relatable and kind of caring companion. Peter Dinklage is a great actor, but I think he's just too sharp and witty and kind of edgy for it, and also the dialogue's not so great. So I just think we need a more relatable companion that we can really get to know, but I could be wrong because I haven't played the full game, of course. So number 17, moving on to multiplayer. There's no world PvP. It just seems like, again, a big oversight, kind of like the Division has showed us, where you can just run into random players and fight with them. Why can't you do that? In Destiny, it's like all the Guardians get along fine, and when they meet each other in the field, they're all perfect friends. They're not fighting for different parts or stuff or resources. They're just perfect friends. So no world PvP is just a letdown. Number 18, Iron Banner bad. That basically sums it up. It's just more unbalanced than multiplayer is in general. The idea of playing against different leveled characters where some characters are higher level than you, that's crazy. That's Looney Tunes. It's a crazy design choice. I know it's optional, but it's still crazy. Number 19, ranked multiplayer, or I should say no ranked multiplayer. I just think if Destiny really wants to be the next evolution of shooters, they need to have ranked multiplayer. We've seen games like Counter-Strike Global Offensive, StarCraft 2, and other games too, do some sort of ranked system where the great players play against other great players. It's just crazy. It's like a professional basketball player playing against just some middle school team. The pros just kill the noobs and post their videos, and they're so proud of their great scores. It's just if they don't do some sort of ranked system, they're just not progressing the genre forward. And for all the hype best Destiny has achieved, I just think we deserve more. Number 20, Grimoire Insanity. The fact that you have to check Bungie.net, I almost don't believe that's how it works, so maybe I'm wrong, and if so, I apologize, but it seems like when you get a Grimoire card unlocked, you have to go check their website? What is that? I mean, that's the craziest thing ever. Have an in-game codex. That is all. Number 21, Level Cap DLC. Or I should say, the level cap I think is so low because the DLC will expand it, and I just think having such a low level cap is such a unfortunate design choice because people like to level up, let's face it. Even with the 20 and 30 cap, it's way too low, and I just think it may just be because I want to sell us more DLC. Number 22, Season Pass No Planets. At least for the first expansion they've announced for the Season Pass, there won't be a new planet. Again, this is a big fail. We only have 4 planets to begin with, and if they want to charge us $15, which is a fourth of the entire $60 price, it seems like they should give us an extra planet and for each expansion. So it's just a big letdown, and I think it's unacceptable, and I think we shouldn't settle for less. The final point is my personal pet peeve, and it's kind of a funny point. It's just the marketing campaign of Become Legend. It's not grammatically sound. It's not Become Legend. It's Become a Legend, Become the Legend, Become Legendary. Become Legend. It's not proper grammar, okay? Become grammar. That is all. Thank you. Alright guys, I know I ran through all those points just really quickly, and like I said, I have the full 51-minute version where I expand on all these points in detail, so feel free to listen to that if you want all the details. Thanks again, and I just want to say that I love Bungie. They've made some amazing games. Myth the Fallen Lords, I still say, is their best game ever. I love that game so much, and I really do hope Destiny succeeds. I just wanted to put this out just to say for the record, here are my problems with the game, and I think the review scores will be too high, because I think a lot of reviewers won't really delve in-depth into the game. But anyway, I just hope it turns out well, but maybe someone can see this, and maybe this will have some small impact on future Destiny releases.